Bitcoin may well be a substitute for gold. We don't know that yet, but it's starting to behave that way. But is Bitcoin a substitute for the dollar?
So I think really what we are seeing in the discussions we are having with the clients is that people are looking for portfolios that have a reasonable balance between risky assets and safe assets. And what is happening is that the bucket that used to be a lot of US fixed income is getting put into all kinds of other buckets, being it gold, being Bitcoin, or Chinese bonds to some degree, right? So there's sort of a shift out of that safe US dollar assets that was the US Treasury into a spectrum of other alternative safe assets, and Bitcoin is a part of that now. That's really what's new about this year is that institutional investors are getting engaged in Bitcoin. So it's very different from the initial sort of very speculative retail move you had in cryptocurrencies. There are a lot of institutional money that is involved in Bitcoin this year.
So then, Jens, does it make you a buyer of that? And does Bitcoin have to have a weak dollar to keep rising or no? It sounds like it's completely independent of what's happening with the greenback.
I think those are very separate dynamics, but the one variable that is really important is where is the U.S. bond yield, right? If we had a big move in the U.S. yield curve, let's say like bond yields went back to where they used to be, like 3-4%, it would be a totally different game, and the sort of appetite for holding instruments that have zero yield would be totally different. But in the short term, I think the biggest thing that is going on right now is that finally, with the vaccine around the corner, there's a huge appetite in the U.S. to get engaged in global risk assets. And we track global capital movements very intensively, and the last 4 or 5 weeks have been record-breaking outflows into emerging market stocks, other stocks around the world. Wow. Where you can get a return, essentially betting on a global recovery.
Yep, that absolutely jives with a lot of what investors on CNBC all day have been telling us, that that's where they're looking. Jens, thanks for joining us.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.